Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and I love doing DIY, making clothes in a simply but pretty way. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how I make my long puffy sleeve blouse. It's a very cute and one of the must-have items you should have in your wardrobe this season. So I hope you will like it and try it out. And let's get started. Here's the look of the blouse that I want to make. I divide it into three parts: the bodice part, the sleeve part, and the bottom part. I start making the bodice parts of the blouse first. I cut a rectangle with 30 cm width, which is my inside shoulder size, plus 2 cm for seam allowance, and 30 cm length, which is the length from the shoulder to under the breast, plus 2 cm for seam allowance. It will be the back of the bodice. I cut two smaller rectangle with 16 cm width, which is a half of my inside shoulder size, plus 2 cm for seam allowance, and 30 cm length, which is the length from the shoulder to under the breast. They will be the front of the bodice. I connect two pieces of the front bodice together by the length line first. Before sewing, I mark at 20 cm from the top of the connecting line. It will be the dip of the neck of the blouse that I want. Then sew the rest together. After sewing, we will have two pieces of the front and the back bodice in the same size. From the middle of the top width line, I mark two sides 8 cm. So the width between two marks will be 16 cm, which is the width of the neck that I want, minus 2 cm for seam allowance. From the middle of the top width line, I mark down 4 cm. Then connect this mark to two marks I just made before that. Based on it, I draw a slightly curved line to finish the neckline of the back bodice. From the top of the length line, I mark down 2 cm. Then connect this mark to one end of the neckline next to it to finish the shoulder line. After that, I draw a perpendicular line from the end of the shoulder line to finish the sleeve line of the blouse. From the middle of the top width line, I mark down 10 cm, which is the width of my neck. Then connect this mark to two ends of the back neckline I drew before that. Based on it, I draw a slightly curved line to finish the front neckline of the blouse. Make sure the total width from the back to the front of the neck is bigger than your head, so you can wear the blouse over your head later. And here's the bodice after cutting. I finish the dip of the neck at the front by folding the end fabric inside 2 times with a half centimeter each time and sewing. After that, I connect the front and the back bodice together at the shoulder. To finish the neck, I cut a long fabric line with 3.5 cm width and around 120 cm length. I connect the middle of the fabric line to the middle of the back neckline first, then connect the rest of them together later, and sewing. After the first seam, I fold the other side of the fabric line to the middle first. Then keep folding it over the first seam to hide on the end fabric inside and sewing. To make the sleeve, I cut a long rectangle with 60 cm length, which is the length of the sleeve that I want, and 75 cm width, which is the total length of the sleeve line from the front to the back of the bodice, plus 15 cm to create the gathering fabric at the top of the sleeve later. I fold two length lines of the rectangle together first. From the edge of the folding rectangle, I mark on the length line 14 cm, which is a half of the gap between a half of my bust side minus the width at the end of the bodice. From one end of the folding line, I mark down on the width line 26 cm, which is a half of the end of the sleeve that I want. Then connect this mark to the one on the length line just made before that to create the underarm big line of the sleeve. Make it a big curve at the end to create a smooth connecting. After cutting, I connect two underarm big lines together. I finish the end of the sleeve by folding the end fabric inside 2 times with around a half centimeter each time and sewing. From the end of the sleeve, I draw a line 9 cm above it. It will be the position of the fabric hole that I will create there later. I cut a fabric line with 4 cm width and the length is 2 cm longer than the end of the sleeve. I connect two width lines together to create a circle fabric first. After that, I use the iron to create the folding at two sides of the circle fabric. Then I add the circle fabric to the line I drew before that and sew two sides of the circle fabric to the sleeve to create a fabric hole. Remember to keep a small unsewed space at one side of the circle fabric for the elastic band to go through later. I cut an elastic band with 1 cm width and around 24 cm length, which is 4 cm longer than my wrist. After connect two ends of the elastic band together, close the unsewed space you kept before that. At the top of the sleeve, I make a loose seam first, then I create the gathering fabric there later. The final width of the gathering fabric will be the same with the sleeve line at the bodice, so you can connect them together later. And we will finish the top part of the blouse after sewing. I check the width at the end of the top part first. Then I cut a long rectangle with 1.5 times that width and 40 cm length, which is the length from under the breast to around my hip. It's the length of the blouse that I want. I connect two length lines of the rectangle together to create the circle fabric first. After that, I finish one side of the circle fabric, which is the end of the blouse, by folding the end fabric inside 2 times with 1 cm each time and sewing. At the other side of the circle fabric, I make a loose seam first. Then I create the gathering fabric there later. The final width of the gathering fabric will be the same at the end of the top part, so you can connect them together later. And I finished this DIY. Here's my final result. This is such a pretty but comfortable blouse. I hope you will try to make one for yourself. See you next week!